Welcome back. All right, so 2 games tonight in the National Hockey League. The Avalanche, the Maple Leafs, and of course the Kraken playing against the Minnesota Wild tonight. So let's go ahead and jump right in. We'll talk about the Avalanche in Toronto against the Leafs. Blackwood versus Wall in this one. Early press by Toronto. Malinsky has a shot that's held as the Avs get some pressure. In fact, the shots are 4-0 for Colorado, 3 minutes in. Nichushkin has a slot shot that's kicked aside. The Avs are controlling the game early. Wall's the reason this thing stays scoreless at that stage. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Nichushkin has a net feed that's saved. Good forechecking by Colorado. McCabe's then denied in close. The Leafs press at 9 minutes. Nylander has a fast break chance that's held with 9 minutes left in the period. The shots are 9-3 for Colorado. So again, can't say enough good things about the game that Wall had tonight for Toronto. McMahon has a net drive that's blocked. Things get pushed and hold by Wall. The Leafs press. They're kept to the outside. The teams trade turnovers. Malinsky breaks up a 2-on-1 by Toronto. The Avs press with 2 minutes left, and with 37.8 seconds left, the Leafs go to the power play. So it is scoreless after the first, but Toronto got through what was a pretty strong period by Colorado. Early in the second period, on that power play, Toronto scores. It is Matthews. It's a net feed going in off Taves' stick. Marner and Tavares with the assists at 28 seconds. The Avs press for response. We get a power play for Colorado. The Avs cycle. The Leafs clear it out. And then when it comes back in, McKinnon on a tic-tac-toe play buries it, or Nichushkin on a tic-tac-toe play buries it from the slot. McKinnon and Makar with the assists at 2:48. So that lead for Toronto lasted 2 minutes and 20 seconds. The Leafs, or Nylander then fires one wide on a net drive. The shots are 6-3 in favor of Toronto 4 minutes in. Nyes can't bury one in close. We have a crossbar for Matthews. The shots are 8-5 for Toronto at 7 minutes. There's a post for McCabe as the Leafs get some pressure. The Leafs have a 2-on-1 that misfires. Natchez then has a rush chance that's held. Nyes with a wraparound chance that's saved. The Leafs press with 9.5 minutes left, and I thought they had a better period than they did in the first. There's a glove save on Matthews. The Avs clear. The Avs can't bury one amidst a dog pile with Wall down looking for the puck. The Leafs clear it out. The Leafs press with 5 minutes left. The Avs then get some pressure on the next shift with 4.5 minutes left. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. McKinnon fires one wide on a rush. Lindgren then fires one wide in the final minute. McKinnon gets denied after that, and Makar fires one high from the slot. So a lot of near misses for Colorado late in the second period. It is 1-1 after 2. Third period. Early McCabe chance deflects out. The teams trade rushes. There's too many men on the ice for the Leafs. This has been a problem for them lately. They've got to figure that out. The Avs go to the power play. McKinnon has a net drive this block. The Avs cycle. And then on a turnover, Lawrence roofs one on a rush. The puck hits Kelly Sutherland at center ice, and it just lays flat there for Lawrence. So I've seen online, don't ever complain about referees working against Toronto this season. I mean, sure, it's not intentional by Kelly Sutherland, but when you see a referee diving to get out of the way and actually dive in front of the puck. Lawrence from Benoit at 2:52. Like, it's going to be a gift for the next 20 years. Anyways, 2-1 lead for Toronto. A little bit of good fortune there. You could say the puck, it's not a Leafs bounce. It's the puck was just dead at center ice, so Lawrence could just skate onto it like a penalty shot. Anyways, the Leafs then finish the kill. That's the important part as well. The Leafs press at 5.5 minutes. The Avs press. Johnson fires one wide. The shots are 6-3 Colorado at 7.5 minutes. Nelson's robbed on a net drive. Matthews then has a rush chance that's saved. Lawton hits the side of the net. The Avs rush the other way. Nyes with a near miss. Matthews then has a chance that's held. The Avs press with 8.5 minutes left. Marner has a backhand that's held. Shots are 8 apiece with 6.5 minutes left. The Avs press with 6 minutes left. Tavares looks to bank one in off Blackwood. Good idea. It does not work there. The Leafs press with 4 minutes left. Tavares with a 3-on-2 chance. That's kicked aside. The goalie pull happens with 1 minute and 40 seconds left. The Leafs guilty of an icing with 1:29 left, and they kept icing it. 56.5 left, 36.5 left, and at that point the Avs call a timeout, which was probably fine with the Leafs because they likely were pretty tired. And then a Makar to McKinnon chance ends up deflecting out. That's as close as the Avs get. Toronto wins this one 2-1. They go to 41-24-3 with the win. The Avs 41-25-3 with the loss. Shots on net favored Colorado the whole way. 13-5 in the first, 15-10 in the second, 11-10 in the third. Final shots 39-25 for the Avalanche. Power plays, Colorado 1 for 2. Toronto scored on the only one they had. The hits 21-20 in favor of Toronto. Blackwood saves 23 out of 25. Wolves saves 38 out of 39. All right, and next up, last game of the night, of course, Seattle in Minnesota against the Wild. And I don't have a magnet like this because the poster that I cut up to make these magnets, Seattle wasn't in the league at the time, so that happens. Anyways, Grubauer versus Gustafsson in this one. Spurgeon has a rush chance that's saved. Kakko has a rush chance that's kicked aside. Kraken press at a minute and a half. Then the Wild get some pressure and they score at 2:47. It's a wrister from the slot by Hartman. Bogosian and Hinostroza with the assist. That is the 100th career assist for Hinostroza. Good for Vinny. Someday when his career's done, I will definitely do a Vinny Hinostroza career video because I am a Vinny Hinostroza stan, as the kids would call it these days. Rossi's then denied and close. I don't think I've ever said I was a stan for something. I don't think I've ever done that. It doesn't feel right. I don't know that I'll ever do it again. Rossi's denied and close as the Wild press for another. And then at 3:59, Boldy gets his first in 13 games, although later on they said 11 games. So, yeah. This one's buried and close by Boldy. So he'd been on a cold streak and finally gets a goal there. And then at 4:29, Ogren scores. It's a cross-ice pass and in. Gaudreau and Nyquist with the assists. It's 3-0. And in that moment, I went, well, at least this game's got more scoring in it than the Toronto game. This should be a lot of fun. Right. The Kraken call a timeout. Right plan. Probably a goal late, but how did Bilesma score? No, they were going to score that third one so fast. The Wild press for another. Ogren's denied and close. The shots are 8 apiece at 7 minutes. And one thing that's important with this game is to point out the Kraken played relatively well. They didn't get a lot of high danger chances that I at least what I felt would have been high danger chances, but they had chances throughout this game. So Asimon has a wraparound that save. Then there's a crossbar for Hartman on a 2-on-1 rush. So both Ogren and Hartman almost had second goals in that first period. Power play for the Wild. There's a post for Hinostroza. The power play's killed off. No shots on net for Minnesota on that power play. Kraken press after finishing the kill. Shore has a sharp angle chance that saved. The rebound's cleared. With 4:04 left, the Wild get their second power play. And that was killed off. No shots on net for that one either. And Minnesota didn't have another power play tonight. So, powerless power play indeed. Poor power plays also, I felt like, took away the Wild's energy. That they had a lot of energy, and then that first power play didn't go anywhere. The second power play didn't either. And it just seemed to deflate them as that period went along. So it's 3-0 Minnesota after 1. Second period. Early power play for Seattle. There's a near miss for Kakko. Puck's cleared out. There's a short-handed net drive by Boldy. That's defended. The power play's killed off. 1 shot on net. There were no more power plays for either team in this game. My guess is the referee's like, look, if you guys can't run a power play, I'm not calling any more penalties. The Wild press at 3 minutes. Rossi, at this point, they're talking about how he's not on the bench. He did a shot block thing, and the puck went off the side of his knee. So I will also agree with the announcer that if you are a Wild player who has more than 50 points, be afraid, basically, because this is a team where injuries have besieged this roster, and now Rossi's out. So I have no idea what's going to... The good news is Brodin's almost back, but he's a defenseman, and if they don't have Rossi, they already don't have Eriksson Ek. Johansson was out tonight with illness. Of course, Kaprizov's out. He's still not skating. It's a lot for the Minnesota Wild right now. So, lone shot on nets for Seattle at 5.5 minutes. That was during that power play. Kraken press are kept to the outside. Faber gets stuck on the ice for 3.5 minutes. I'm going to say this for Brock Faber. He didn't look like he'd been on the ice for 3.5 minutes. He kept his positioning pretty well out there, and then had a chuckle about it when he did get to the bench. Gaunce has a rush chance that's held. The teams trade rushes. Shots are 6-3 Minnesota with 6.5 minutes left. The Kraken press with that time period, or with 5.5 minutes left. There's a mask save on Hayden, and then the puck's cleared out. Things get scrummy on a hold by Gustafsson. There wasn't a lot of that in this game, but there was some there. Nyquist then has a net feed that's blocked. Newman has a rush chance that's saved. It stays 3-0 for Minnesota after 2. Third period. Beniers has a net drive chance that's blocked. Shots are 1 apiece, 4 minutes into the period. A lot of one and done. A lot of you get zone time, you take a shot at the net, the other team takes over, puts it in the other zone, and that's the one and done thing, right? Nobody gets like a prolonged pressure. Nobody really gets to set anything up. Boldy has a one-timer that's blocked. Beniers fires one high on a rush. There's a toe save on Nyquist from the slot. Trennan mishandles one on a breakaway. Otherwise, he probably would have scored there. Things get scrummy at 7:26, so it's 4-on-4, and Hartman looked just beside himself at the fact that he was getting a penalty on the play. Hartman at this point in time needs to understand he will get calls because he's Ryan Hartman. And this is one of those things that sometimes players need to just accept, that you'll have a reputation. The officials can be like, all right, he's in the middle of it. He's going to the box. It's just how that works. So I'm not saying he was innocent. I'm just saying that's why he's the one that gets pulled out of the pile. Kakko has a chance that's held. No momentum either way in this third period at this point. Brazo steals one, and then the Kraken just steal it right back. So again, there's going to be an exciting. Nope, not an exciting play. Kraken press, the Wild block. Some bend don't break defense by the Wild in the second half of the period. McCann fans on a slot chance as the Kraken press, which I thought was pretty indicative of Seattle's play. They'd get these good chances and just manage to fumble them. Montour and Zuccarello have a bit of a wrestle, so they both go to the box for that. Goalie stays on the bench too, so they go to 4-on-4. It had been goalie pull for 6-on-5. They pulled the goalie early. I don't know, when you're down by 3 and you pull the goalie, I don't even know if I want to put it on the board. I've started just not bothering to put it on the board. They're down by 3. So the goalie stays on the bench, and at 18:23, Boldy hits the empty net from Bogosian, makes it 4-0. Right, can't bury one in close after that, as Seattle wanted to break the shutout, but they don't. So the Tony the Tiger Magnets on this game as Minnesota wins 4-0. The Chess Magnets on the other game because it was a 3-goal game, so not a lot of scoring tonight. With the win, Minnesota 39-25-5. With the loss, Seattle 30-35-5 on the season. Shots on net, 14-10 Seattle in the first, 9 apiece in the second, 11-9 Seattle in the third. They do outshoot Minnesota 34-28. Power plays, Seattle 0 for 1, Minnesota 0 for 2, and it was awful. The less said about it, the better. Hits 17-16 Minnesota. Grubauer, 24 saves on 27 shots. Gustafsson saves all 34 for his 5th shutout this season and the 11th shutout of his career. So there you go. You're all caught up. Tomorrow it's 14 games. So gotta get my sleep tonight. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.